Obviously, we know they killed President Kennedy, and there's a lot of conspiracies around it for different reasons. But if you ask me, they killed President Kennedy because he started to take away the power of printing money from the Federal Reserve. You see, President Kennedy issued $850 billion worth of treasury notes, silver certificates, not Federal Reserve notes. He issued $850 billion worth of silver certificates. He was here to help the people. He wanted you to have a real future and real money and not be swindled by the banks and their pieces of paper that they continue to siphon the wealth from you. I know people love it when they get their tax return, right? People love tax time, right? Because you feel like they gave you something. They didn't give you anything but what they took from you, and then they gave less of it back, and then on top of that, the purchasing power of your dollar has declined. So these are things that we're talking about when we're talking about building wealth and securing your future assets like gold and silver and cryptocurrency. So the silver certificate and the Federal Reserve note is what the dollar used to be backed by, which is silver. And so I'm giving you this information because right now some people might have seen or know about a website. I'm gonna give you free game, all right? This is public information. You can check it out yourself. If you got your phone, pull out your phone and type in usdebtclock.org. I want you to understand where the country is at because a lot of people are walking around like zombies and don't realize where the country is. You see, there's your economy and then there's the global economy. And right now, if you're not aware of what's taking place in the global economy, you're going to get wiped out with this economy. And I hate to put it that way. I didn't come out here to offend, but I have to give you the truth as it stands. The coronavirus, whatever your opinion of it, has created a situation where the government or the Federal Reserve has printed trillions of dollars. When they print these trillions of dollars, some people are happy if they get a stimulus check. Give us free money. Give us free money. There is no such thing as free money. You are enslaving yourself when you take the stimulus check, and I'm not saying don't take it because everybody needs some help right now, but you have to understand that the more of the paper, the dollars that they print, not only is it stealing from the purchasing power of the dollars that's in circulation, but it's putting your future at risk, and not only your future, but the future of your children. Because the value of your currency right now is being dumped on Wall Street. The dollar's losing its purchasing power. The countries around the world no longer want to do trade in dollars. Another free game. I like the website. It's called RT. RT.com. They will let you know that they are pushing countries like China, all right, who's heard of BRICS? Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. They don't want to use the dollar as much for global trade. They want to use something else, their own currency. They want to use gold, okay, because we can all trust gold. Gold has the same value in Africa. Gold has the same value in Asia. Gold has the same value in Europe. But the dollar bill, the fiat currency system, is not a fair system because some countries' currencies are greater than others. When some countries even have the resources that the whole world needs, their currency is below other nations' currency. So this is why they set it up when we talk about having gold. Gold is something that the world acknowledges as money. Every country acknowledges gold. In fact, central banks around the world are holding and buying more gold than they ever have in history. I don't know if people have seen the markets lately, but have you noticed that gold is at an all-time high? Has anybody paying attention that gold is at an all-time high? Gold has never been this high in price before. Now what does that mean? What does it mean that gold has went up in value? Did the gold change? Nope. Did the gold do anything special for it to become worth more? Nope. No, gold didn't do anything. It sits there and it looks pretty, right? The reason that gold, it has real uses, it's money, I don't want to downplay it like that, but the reason that gold is going up in value is because your dollars are declining. How you doing? All right. So your dollars are declining in value, and the economy, anytime you see gold rise like it is right now, it's a sign that the global economy is not healthy. It's a sign that central banks and governments around the world are looking for safety and security. If your government and governments around the world are doing something, it's best that you probably should follow. Because they know things that you don't know. They knew about the pandemic before it happened. The bankers on Wall Street and central banks knew the 2008 crisis was going to happen before it happened. In fact, when the coronavirus hit, there were a few senators who took their money out of the market because they knew what was going to happen. But did they tell you? Did they warn you? No, they didn't. And do you think they're going to tell you when this next crisis hits seriously right now that we're in? The Federal Reserve is printing trillions of dollars right now, and you have to understand the implications of that on your own economy. I know you trust the government, right? You trust them. They're going to tell you the truth every single time. They're going to let you know everything is fine until it isn't. And I'm telling you that if you look throughout history, there's nothing farther from the truth. There's nothing farther from the truth. They will not tell you, hey, now's a good time to get gold and silver because the dollar is losing its status in the global economy. They're not going to tell you that you should be getting cryptocurrency right now. They want you stuck in a fiat debt-based system, which is the US dollar. Now, I came out here to have this conversation because nobody's talking about this. Nobody's talking about this. I mean, I help people on my social media platforms. There are a lot of people who understand it, but the masses of people are going to get wiped out financially because they don't understand what's taking place right now in the government. They hear the government's printing trillions of dollars, they hear they're getting a stimulus check, and they just assume everything is going to be okay. It's worse than 2008, folks. I don't know if you know anybody who lost a job in 2008. I don't know if you know anybody who lost their home in 2008. I don't know if you know anybody whose 401k was adversely affected from 2008. But what I'm here to tell you is the economy is in a worse position than 2008. And there is no solution. Some people might know Federal Reserve chairmen like Ben Bernanke, Janet Yellen, Jerome Powell. They know that they have no tools to save the economy because if you understand how the Federal Reserve works, all they can do is print money and lower interest rates. That's all they can do. They're either going to create more debt. Let me ask you this. If you have a debt problem, most people here are in debt, don't realize it. Now, outside of the national debt and public debt, most people have their own personal debt, right? How do you fix your debt problem? You have debt. How do you fix it? I'm going to ask you this, better yet. Do you think that having more debt will fix your debt problem? I don't think so. The country, the government, the central banks, they're telling you that we're going to fix the crisis by adding more debt on top of it. When they say they're printing money, you have to understand that they're stealing from you. Your government is stealing from you. You just don't understand it because it's hidden. How are they stealing from me? It's called inflation. It's called inflation, folks. Now, we haven't seen the type of inflation that's happening in other countries because we're able to export our inflation overseas. So while we live it up really nicely here in America, there are other countries that are suffering because of the policies that are taking place in Washington and the Federal Reserve. And so there's coming a time that we won't be able to just hide in our homes and be happy with our 401k and our jobs. There's going to be a time where everybody that I'm looking at right now, they're going to be protesting, rioting, and wondering why did their government fail them. They're going to wonder why is their dollar worthless. They're going to wonder why is it so expensive to get basic necessities. They're not telling you the severity of what's taking place, but trust and believe the government has contingency plans. They're planning. FEMA, Homeland Security, they know what's coming. They know how you're going to respond. They already know what you're going to do ahead of time. Now, if you ask me, we could talk about the problem all day long. We could talk about the problem all day long. We know there's a problem, but what are we going to do about it individually? I'm going to give you the individual solution that you can do. You don't have to protest. You don't have to riot. All right? You don't have to pick up arms. You don't have to do any of that. The number one revolutionary thing that you can do right now is exchange your paper for assets like gold and silver. I know that seems too simple. Sometimes we want a solution to something that's complicated to be complicating, but it doesn't have to be. You have to exchange your paper for gold and silver. Now, what does that do? For one thing, that's going to protect you and your family against the crash and the fall of the dollar. Some people, now this is free information as well. Everybody has a phone today. You can fact check me. You can Google it, all right? You can check it out yourself. If you go to Google and you type in the 1988 Economist magazine. 1988 Economist magazine. I want you guys to see the cover of that. Now, obviously, most people are not going to do it because that's just how people are. But if you do want to get more information, I'm on YouTube as well under Ricardo Hamilton. And I talk about this all the time. But in 1988, the Rothschilds. Who's heard of the Rothschilds? What about the Morgans? Right? What about the Rockefellers? Anybody know about them? The most people know about them, they know about conspiracy theories. The Rockefellers and Rothschilds, and they just kind of say their name jokingly because it's something over their head. But I mention that because the Rothschilds, the Economist magazine is a Rothschild-owned magazine. In their 1988 edition of their magazine, they had on the cover fiat currency, which is the US dollar if you don't know, and different fiat currencies all around the world. And on the cover of that magazine, the Rothschilds were telling you, because you know they're talking secret, they're talking codes, right? This message is being displayed to you right now, and you have no idea what you're looking at, but those who have been taught to look properly have received the message. So the message in that Economist magazine was that get ready for a new world currency. How many people are ready for a new world currency? Well, the Rothschilds in the Economist magazine was showing that your fiat currency was going to be burnt in flames. It was going to be worthless. These pieces of paper that you hold are going to be worthless, right? So if it's going to be worthless, what's going to be the new money? How are you going to buy food? How are you going to pay bills? How are you going to protect yourself and be able to have the basic necessities of life if your paper is worth nothing? Well, in that magazine, it showed a gold pendulum around the neck of a phoenix bird, rising out of the ashes of the burnt currency, and around its neck was gold. But significantly enough, it wasn't just gold around the neck to symbolize the new money that will replace your pieces of paper, which is actually the old money. There was a digital zero. The world is moving towards blockchain and cryptocurrency. The sooner you start to understand what blockchain technology is and how to get cryptocurrency, the better for you. I know some people heard of Bitcoin, and they say, oh, Bitcoin, it went down. People lost money. They don't understand it. No, Bitcoin has not went down. Bitcoin is not going anywhere. Bitcoin, at the hype when everybody knew about it, it was around $20,000 per coin. But Bitcoin created over 26,000 millionaires, or 23. Bitcoin is a digital currency. You have to know everything is moving towards digital. You don't think that your phone is the only thing that's going to evolve now, do you? You don't think your TV is the only thing that's going to evolve now, do you? Nope. The monetary system is changing and evolving as well. Everything is going digital. Yep. So Bitcoin started at pennies, all right, pennies, and went to $20,000 per coin. Bitcoin today is at about maybe 9,000, right? Am I right? About 9,000? About $10,000. No, actually 12. It almost hit 12, folks. The reason I'm saying this is because if I got some Bitcoins when they were $1,000, and now the Bitcoin is at 10,000, did I lose? If I got Bitcoin when it was at a penny, did I lose? The thing about Bitcoin is the blockchain technology. I'm giving y'all some free game here that most people will charge for. The information that you're getting here, people pay thousands of dollars for, and I'm giving it away for free. I'm giving it away for free. So blockchain technology is going to change everything in how you interact with life. It's not just about Bitcoin. Nope. Not just about Bitcoin. Blockchain technology right now is changing every aspect of your life, from government to agriculture, business. Everything will be on the blockchain, and the product of the blockchain is cryptocurrency. Sir. And so the sooner you understand that cryptocurrency is the future of money, the better, because while you have it now, as it increases in value, that is your wealth being protected. Now, why is it that it increases in value? Because one thing is guaranteed, like I said earlier, your dollars are going to continue to lose purchasing power. Supply and demand. Some people might know the law of supply and demand, right? If there's a lot of it, the price is less. If it's scarce, the price is high, right? Well, they're printing trillions of dollars. There's so much dollars out there. That's why the value of your currency goes less. It loses value. You have to understand, countries like China are buying more gold. Countries like Russia are buying more gold. Central banks around the world, as I let this dump truck go by. What? Countries around the world are dumping dollars. They're dumping dollars and buying gold. And you should be doing the same thing, because they're doing that to protect themselves and their citizens. Your government won't tell you that because your government is controlled by the Federal Reserve. Some people might know J.P. Morgan. J.P. Morgan, the bank, right, but the actual J.P. Morgan from the day, he said, I care not who writes a country's laws, long as I control the issue of the money. The Federal Reserve controls your money, not the government. So you have a private banking cartel that taxes you, loans you money out, and then prints your paper up for it to lose value on the international markets. And so when you go to the grocery store, when you want to buy something, you're wondering why it's so hard to get ahead. The coronavirus has left millions of people unemployed. And it's not the coronavirus, honestly, folks. Nope. The coronavirus, whatever you think about it, conveniently enough, allowed them to do things to this economy that they could only have dreamed about. They shut down the whole economy, the global economy. Heart disease and diabetes kills more people than the coronavirus. Now, I'm not out here to substantiate the validity of it or not. I just want to put things into a little proper perspective, give it a little more context, make people think a little bit. Go ahead, bro. People die from heart disease and diabetes more than the coronavirus. In fact, they say the coronavirus is a 99.7% recovery rate, right?
Corona's fake.
Why am I saying this?
Corona's fake. It doesn't fucking exist.
The coronavirus was used for the government and the Federal Reserve to print trillions of dollars to bail out the economy. They bailed out the global economy at your expense. You have to understand that they bailed out the world on your back. And how are you going to pay for it? You're already in debt, most people. Most people are relying on a job. So what happens when the next crisis hit and people got to get furloughed? And you're out looking for another job. I tell people all the time, if you're relying on one stream of income, you're a disaster waiting to happen. Never rely on one stream of income. Some people know Robert Kiyosaki. If you have not read a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I recommend that you read it. Another great book I recommend that you read is Think and Grow Rich. But Robert Kiyosaki is going live right now, warning the world that something worse than 2008 is here. It's here, and the world has changed forever. There is no going back to normal. I know everybody wants to go back to normal. They want to take off their masks. They want to go to the game. They want things to go back to normal. I'm telling you what they are telling you, we're not going back to normal.
Nope.
So if we're not going back to normal, where are we headed? And do you have a say in that? And are there things that you should be doing to prepare for this new normal? Because if you rely on them to provide the new normal for you, most likely you're not going to like the quality of living that you will find yourself in, because it's drastically going to change today. But for those who have real assets, for those who are aware, for those who are listening, right? Those who have eyes to see, ears to hear, those who take heed to messages that make sense, do their own research, their own due diligence, those are the new 1%. They say the meek shall inherit the earth. Now, I'm not getting here on some religious tip, but I do want you to understand that the people who have real assets, who understand the monetary system, those are going to be the new wealthy people, because they know how to exchange their paper currency. Savers are losers. Robert Kiyosaki will tell you savers are losers. If you're saving dollar bills, why would you save dollar bills and they print it? You're saving paper and they print the paper up, and it continues to lose value because of inflation. So why save paper? You don't save paper. You take your paper and you exchange it for an asset that holds its value and appreciates.
That's right.
How many people have heard of a Tier 1 asset? Anybody know what a Tier 1 asset is?
Yeah.
Tier 1 asset. I'm going to give you some more free game.
Free game.
A Tier 1 asset is an asset that has zero risk.
Zero.
And accepted for value and appreciates. I'm going to give you one Tier 1 asset. Gold.
Gold.
Physical gold is a Tier 1 asset. That means zero risk. And now who's saying that? Am I saying it's a Tier 1 asset? No. The Bank of International Settlements, which most people know nothing about, the Bank of International Settlements, which is the central bank for central banks, have labeled gold a Tier 1 asset. Recently, by the way, because gold was a Tier 3 asset. But they now have changed the rules. Why are they changing the rules and not telling you why they're changing the rules? You see, they're headed for the exits. The banks around the world, the CEOs on Wall Street, your politicians, all of them, the senators, they already know what's coming. They already got their bunkers, they already got their plans, they already have their strategies, but they want you in the dark. They don't want you to know. They're making decisions right now that affect your life, and you have no idea the ramifications of their decisions. Who's heard of, hello, how you doing?
I have a question.
Yes, please.
So I've heard some of what you're saying. My
Yeah.
question is,
Can you get it?
Hi.
telling us what's about it?
Yes.
So
Yes, we do. So what's your name, ma'am? Your first name is Jesse. To engage the audience in some serious information. So Jesse asked me a question. She heard some of the information that we said, and she wanted to know, do you have a solution? Right? Is there a solution to all the problems that I stated that we know are real? And yes, that's why I came out here to provide the solution. But before somebody can appreciate a solution, they have to understand the problem. So that's why I spent so much emphasis on the problem, but now I want to give some of the solutions. I mentioned it earlier. Exchange your paper for assets like gold and silver and cryptocurrency. And so what we have are platforms, networks, system of leverage, and we actually have some products here. If you've never seen physical silver, and we actually can show you some gold and some silver there at the table, but we have physical silver that gets delivered to your home. We want you to hold the asset. I'm not telling you to get a stock, because stock market is rigged. The stock market is rigged. I hope you know when to pull out, because your wealth is going to go down with it if you don't. The stock market is rigged. You don't want to hold on to paper. You want to hold on to real physical assets. So that brochure is one company that's based in Florida, where they actually allow you to save your money in physical silver. That asset, I don't know if you've seen this note, but it's a silver certificate. It is what President Kennedy had issued. So the dollar used to be backed by silver, right? To give you an idea that silver is real money. This is a silver certificate. Now, if you pull out a $1, another dollar bill, you see it says Federal Reserve note at the top. There's a difference between Treasury money and Federal Reserve notes. So the whole idea is that you want to be able to protect your financial future by saving in an asset, holding physical gold and silver. The wealthy do it. They keep at least 5 or 10% of their portfolio in physical gold.
Why is silver and gold going to be valuable? I know it has historically been valuable, but you know, people are starving. What are they going to do with gold? Or can you explain how gold will retain value even if
Right, no. So that's a great question, awesome question. What she asks is why gold and silver? Will it retain its value, and how does somebody use that when they're ready to buy goods and services, right? So right now, gold is at an all-time high in the markets, and gold is and silver is appreciating. So while gold and silver is appreciating, your dollars are declining. So there are places even where you can spend gold and silver. There are 12 states in the United States right now that accept gold and silver as legal tender. All right? So in 12 states, now Maryland's not one of them, but there are 12 states where you can actually take your gold and silver and buy products, goods, and services. The reason gold and silver is money is because it can't be printed. It can't be manipulated, right? So gold and silver actually has a value because it's a resource. Gold and silver, or specifically silver, is in cars, it's in electronics, it's in your phone, and it's what the monetary system used to be backed by. Just like, who are the British, right? The British pound sterling. It was backed by silver. So the silver was what gave the British pound sterling value. Before the British, it was the Dutch that had the world currency. Same thing, backed by precious metals. The reason the dollar had its value was because it was backed by gold and silver. The dollar doesn't have value outside of that because it's just paper. But gold and silver actually has a real world use. We use it today in electronics, solar panels. If anybody has solar panels in their home, silver is using that. There's a real demand for that. Some people, even in the religious texts, throughout history know that gold and silver has been money, right?
I have another suggestion.
Yeah.
Encourage people to plant their own food.
I agree. Another good thing to have is obviously growing your own food. We actually have a farm that we work with on the Eastern Shore, and we're growing organic produce. You want to have the ability to have access to clean food and water, especially what's coming down right now. And so, thank you, by the way, for those questions, and helping add value, because that's what you did. You add value to a serious conversation.
5 Gs.
Guns, guns go get away plan. That's 3. But this is a serious conversation that's not being had. It needs to be talked about more. It needs to be discussed because they're not going to talk about it on the news. You're not going to hear your central bank or even your local bank. In fact, if you're saving at the bank right now, can anybody tell me what is the interest rate on a savings account or a CD?
0.2%.
If you're saving in the bank, it's for losers. The bank is giving you no interest on your money. I want you to understand that.
0.5%.
0.005%. Less than 1%. Does anybody know the annual rate of inflation? About 3% at least. So nothing's free. Nothing's free. Everybody's going to pay for it in the form of taxes or the loss in purchasing power of your dollar. Right? So a bank gives you no interest on your money, and every year your money is losing value because of inflation. So you give your money to a bank, and the bank loans out 100% of your money. Yes, they do. When you put the money in the bank, it's no longer yours, it's theirs. And what do they do with your money? They loan out 100% of your money because the Federal Reserve has changed the laws now to where something called fractional reserve lending. Some people might know fractional reserve lending. They have... Go ahead. Yes, we gave you. Yeah. So, fractional reserve lending is where a bank will take your money and loan out your money. In fact, they loan out more than you put in. Well, how does that work? If you put $100 in the bank has now created, before it was $90 out of it and loaned it out to everybody else and got interest on it and you didn't get nothing for it. Now banks can loan out 100% of your money and you get no interest on it. So while your money's sitting in the bank, it's losing value and you gain no interest. So you don't want to save in the bank, you don't want to save in the CD. Once again, where do you want to save your money then? You save it in assets. Gold and silver this year are up over 50%. So if I have gold and silver and I need cash, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to liquidate it if I need to into cash. Well, how do you do that? Some people say, well, how do I turn my gold and my silver into cash? You can go to a We Buy Gold shop. Have any people noticed that they're popping up all of a sudden? I mean, have people really noticed that there's We Buy Gold shops popping up everywhere? Why do they want your gold? And why would they give you cash for something like that? It's because they understand something that you don't. We Buy Gold shops want your gold because they understand that gold is an asset that will continue to increase in value, while your dollars is a liability, right? So you can do it that way. Another way, take your gold and silver to a gold and silver refinery and liquidate it. Now, why would you want to liquidate it? Because if you need money, the money that you were saving has went up in value as opposed to decline. It's financial literacy, things that we were not taught in school. Things that they're not teaching us right now. Me, I have children. Most people have children. You want them to have a better quality of life. You want to know that you put them in a better position tomorrow than you were in today. If you do not take heed to financial literacy and what's going on in the economy and exchange your paper for real assets, you're setting them up for failure. Now, I know you think you're doing right. I know you think you know the dollar's almighty king and all you need is to save a lot of money, dollar bills for them, and they'll be fine. That's not true. The dollar's going to continue to lose purchasing power and credibility on the global stage, and you're saving in something that is not an asset and holds its purchasing power. So, what I'm going to do now, as I get ready to close, we came out here today on our own will because we felt that this was information that people need to know, and these are things that they need to be doing because we are doing it and we are seeing the results of it, and we're also aware of what's taking place in the economy, and this is the most important information today, folks. I know they want you to think the coronavirus is the worst thing. I know they want you to think that police brutality is the worst thing. I know they want you to think that black and white issues are the worst thing. I'm here to tell you the number one problem that you have, that I have, that the global economy has is central banks and monetary policy right now, because that affects everybody. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what age you are. I don't care your ethnicity. I don't care who you are. You are affected by the dollar bill. You are affected by the private central bank called the Federal Reserve. You're affected by monetary policy. And if you do not understand what's taking place right now, you're going to get wiped out. But on the other side of the coin, if you do take heed to this information, if you do your due diligence and do your research and exchange your paper for real assets, then you're going to build massive wealth for yourself. Some people want to know, well, how do I build wealth? I didn't say get rich, which you will can get rich, but how do you build wealth? What do the wealthy do to build wealth? They have assets. The wealthy have land, they have gold, they have precious gems, artwork, exclusive real estate. That's how you preserve your wealth. You do not preserve your wealth in stocks. You do not preserve your wealth in bonds. You do not preserve your wealth in mutual funds, IRAs. That is not wealth-preserving assets because it's tied to a financial system that is rigged and broken. You save your money and build generational wealth in assets. So if you take heed to this information today and come see us and get a flyer or get some information on how physical gold and silver can get mailed to your home, get information on what blockchain and cryptocurrency is doing, which we're giving out free information on Zoom. I do Zoom classes We're giving out free information on blockchain and cryptocurrency. All right? If you take heed to this information, you are going to be the person that makes sure a wealthy family comes from you. If you did not come from a wealthy family, which 99% of planet people did not, if you did not come from a wealthy family, this is the opportunity to make sure that a wealthy family comes from you. I want you to understand that the decisions you're making today are either going to build massive generational wealth for you or going to make sure that you and your future generations have a life of poverty. There's an opportunity to build massive wealth for yourself in real assets. But if you wait too late, the gold and the silver, you'll be priced out because it's skyrocketing now, and the projections for these assets are in the thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars, and you won't be able to afford to get any of it. And you'll be stuck into whatever dystopia that they got designed for you in this economy. So this is a chance for you to build real wealth by saving your money in real assets like gold and silver. So I'm going to give you free game again, some free websites that y'all can check out, free websites. This is priceless information for you folks, priceless information. usdebtclock.org, usdebtclock.org. You need to understand how bad the country is in. The economic system, the country is in crisis. Yes, the United States is in a crisis. usdebtclock.org will help expose that. Another great website that you need to check out is, it's escaping my mind, usdebtclock.org. What's the other one we show, brother? Gold Price, yes, goldprice.org. That's the other website, folks. Goldprice.org. If you got your phone or you got good memory, because I know you're doing something very important right now, goldprice.org. goldprice.org. Why do you need that website? Why do you need goldprice.org? You need goldprice.org because you need to understand how gold and silver has appreciated. The wealth that's being created in holding real asset. Some people will tell you to hold real estate to build wealth. Real estate goes down in value. I believe in real estate as well. But who remembers 2008? Oh, the real estate market was AAA. But the rating agencies were rigging the markets. The central banks were rigging the interest rates. Everything was rigged, right? So you can save in real estate, but you have to understand that what happened in 2008 won't happen again. The equity that you had in your home, next thing you know, you'll find yourself underwater. I don't want that for you. Another thing, goldprice.org will give you the annual percentage rates and gains. If you're saving money for your kids' college tuition, if you're saving money for retirement, whatever you're saving money for, you want to save your money in an asset that's going to hold its value and increase. You don't want to save it in something that exposes you to a lot of risk. Well, when you save in paper, when you save in stocks, you're exposing yourself to a lot of risk because the economy collapses every 10 years or so. Who remembers Y2K? Right? The 2000 market tech bubble burst. That was 2000, right? And 8 years later, what do we have? The greatest financial crisis in history at the time. We're in the greatest financial crisis right now, you just don't realize it. But at the time, the greatest financial crisis in history was 2008. So now, we're at 2020. We're in 2020, entering a whole nother decade, and this crisis that we're in right now is worse than anything that the world has ever seen. I want you to understand something. I know you heard stories about the Great Depression. I know you've experienced 2008. I know you've heard stories in the past of what happened in economies. I want you to understand something. What we're going to experience in this decade right now is something that the world has never seen before. I want you to think about the worst period in history that you can think of. Whatever that period was in time, you literally are in the worst era than all those times because of the monetary system and central bank policy. So that's why I'm out here. Because the time that you're in is more significant than any time period that anybody has ever been alive. This is the most important time in history. And if you're not seeing that from the coronavirus, where something worse than any plague shut down the whole economy, right? So look, I want to do this again. We will be out again. You can follow me on YouTube, Ricardo Hamilton on YouTube. This is what I talk about. We're actually doing some great things with farmland as well, with a nonprofit. We're giving this information out for free, folks. We're giving this information out for free. 2008, monetary policy, gold and silver, cryptocurrency, blockchain technology. This is the information you need. It's pertinent to the quality of your life moving forward. So once again, my name is Ricardo Hamilton. They also call me Crypto Rick. I constantly, continuously, consistently build wealth in precious metal assets and cryptocurrency. I'm on Instagram as Wealth and Assets, wealth with the letter N and assets. I'm on Facebook as well, Ricardo Hamilton. So I hope you guys found some value in this free information that we gave you. If anything, you don't have to get it from us, but wherever you get it, exchange your paper for physical gold and physical silver. Not only will you be happy that you did it, but your future generations, for generations on down the line, will thank you for it as well. Everybody enjoy the rest of your day. Appreciate you, brother.
All right.
Go ahead and say your piece. Say goodbye. You want to say anything?
Nah.
So,
Peace, people.
how did that? Oh, we live?
Good set.
We
Good
live
set.
on
We
the
still
YouTube
set.
too, on the
Nah,
Facebook?
yeah, man. I'm just saying my goodbye, man. Peace out, people. Yeah. Peace out.
All right, folks. So, yeah, we got to get out here and tell the people, give it to them the best that we can. Some people are going to be receptive. There were some receptive people. Like, if you guys could see the crowd, there were people who were walking. They didn't come and approach, but they stood right where they were. They were frozen by the knowledge and they listened. And more importantly than them even getting the gold or silver from the platforms that we leverage is them getting the information. Because time is running out, as you guys know. These assets are skyrocketing in value. Bitcoin approaching 12,000. Silver, hitting close to $30 an ounce and higher. We see what's going on with cryptocurrency and assets and the dollar and all this information, folks. So I appreciate y'all for watching. Like this out, share this out. I think I'm gonna do this again. It was fun. Now I'm sure I might have drawn some attention that I might not want, but it's public information, and I'm in a public space, just giving my opinion, right? Tied in with some facts. But look, I'm gonna catch you guys on the next live stream. I appreciate y'all. Like, share, subscribe. Get out there and warn the people and let them know, because that flood is coming, and people need real solutions and real assets. So get back to the person that shared this video with you, because I'm sure somebody shared this video with you because they care about you and they want you to be able to leverage this information and build wealth and secure your financial future as well. So get back to the person that shared this video with you. Let them know that you want to save in gold or save in silver, all right, or some cryptocurrency. This is the time. This is the time. So this is Ricardo Hamilton, aka Crypto Rick, constantly, continuously, consistently building wealth in precious metal assets and cryptocurrency. I'll catch you guys on the next live stream. I'm out. Peace.